We at Apex TV were recently sent an email containing this audio file.
Hello Apex TV, my name is Daryl Dean, and what I'm about to say is going to be very hard to believe for a lot of people. All that I ask is that you, whoever's out there listening to this, in whatever year you happen to be in, keep an open mind.
It tells the story of a man claiming to be a time traveler from the year 2033. In the recording, he gives amazing details about the future. Watch this and decide for yourself.
Hello Apex TV, my name is Daryl Dean, and what I'm about to say is going to be very hard to believe for a lot of people. All that I ask is that you, whoever's out there listening to this, in whatever year you happen to be in, keep an open mind. My natural year is the year 2033. In 2028, time travel is released to the public, and humans have the ability to travel into both the future and the past. I'm going to be in the year 2018 very briefly, and when I'm here, I wanted to send you this in an effort to tell the general public what the future holds. I'm 27 years old and was born in 2006. I still remember when time travel was released to the public. It was huge. It was around the same time when the existence of aliens was also revealed. I want to walk you through some of the things that are going to happen. When I was 15 years old, in the year 2021, there's going to be a chip released that allows your brain to become an average 6 times more powerful than it normally is. It's because this chip allows your brain to access the internet, and there is free Wi-Fi in the future that covers the entire planet. The brain chip goes in your forehead, and there's another chip that goes in your right hand, and this is the one that lets you pay for things. There is no cash in the future. Everything is paid for digitally. I actually have both of these chips. Now when I travel back in time, like how I came back to the year 2018, I can't really use my brain chip because there is no global internet. The chip really is amazing though, because it basically gives you superhuman abilities. There's a lot of cool things in the future. Speaking of superhuman abilities, we also have these exosuit things that once you put them on, you can run for miles without getting tired, and can lift things that are thousands of pounds with ease. These are released in the early 2020s. One of my personal favorite pieces of technology are the contact lenses that not only give you better vision, but they also let you record everything you see. Now I know many people in this time may think that losing privacy is bad, but it's actually a very good thing, because there's no crime in the future, and it's really safe. I'm not saying that there's no problems in the future though. Global warming is a huge problem, and the melting of sea ice in the Arctic has caused sea levels to rise tremendously, and many major cities are underwater in the future. In the year 2022, the government of the United States announces that all food will be provided for free to its citizens. World hunger is not completely ended, however, because overpopulation is a big issue. The population of Earth is nearly 9 billion in the year 2033. It may be weird to think, but India is actually the most populated country in the future. In the year 2025, a base is open on the moon, and people can actually visit it for a fee. In the year 2026, there are robotic hands released that look exactly like human hands. Almost all diseases are cured as well, because we can 3D print organs and other body parts, which lets people just replace parts of their body if they aren't working. The period of the year 2025 to 2030 is absolutely crazy. So much happens. People in the year 2018 probably can't even imagine it. You guys are in for a ride, I assure you that. In the year 2027, artificial intelligence matches human intelligence and starts to become conscious. And that's a big misconception in your time. Most people think that people are going to go and explore the whole universe. But actually, as humans advance, everything is going to get smaller, not bigger. And eventually, we will start uploading our brains to computers and start simulating realities. But that's later in the 2060s. The furthest I've gone into the future is the year 3000. And oh my gosh, is it incredible. It's basically a utopia and I can barely even describe it. When time travel is released to the public in the year 2028, I highly recommend going to around the year 2000 just for a trip. Time vacations are very common in the future. Speaking of the year 2028 though, early in that year it is announced that there are actually aliens that have been visiting Earth for a long time. These alien species then start to integrate with our society and start living with us. Later that year, like I said, time travel technology is released to the public. It does take around another year for time traveling to be made commercial, and it is pretty expensive at first, but the price drops down over time. I almost think it's more fun to use virtual reality in the future though, because we have these suits that you put on and you really feel like you're in that reality. You can go anywhere and do anything. You can even sit down and talk with relatives who have passed away. Another thing you can do with those brain chips that I mentioned is telepathy. If you think about it, talking with your mouth takes way longer than it needs to. This is fixed, because since everyone is connected to the internet with their brain chips, you can talk to someone by just thinking. I know it might sound weird now, but just wait, it's awesome, trust me. Another thing, we actually have dinosaur zoos in the future. I know a lot of old movies talked about dinosaurs being cloned. Well, in the future, scientists actually managed to do it. It's really amazing going to one of these zoos, because they have T-Rexes, Triceratops, all the dinosaurs you hear about as a kid. They even have woolly mammoths. In terms of transportation, the ability to teleport is released in the year 2030. Before then though, planes will become electric powered, and in many major cities, there are these things called hyperloops that you will drive your car into and be able to travel hundreds of miles per hour. Speaking of cars, all cars are electric in the future, as well in an attempt to cut back on carbon emissions, because the rising amount of CO2 in the atmosphere has caused the Earth to be a few degrees warmer. Also, all cars are self-driving. There are almost no accidents with self-driving cars, and people don't have to drive cars. You simply put in where you want to go, and your car takes you there. You can watch movies, talk with people, and look at the scenery. Oh yeah, and all grocery stores and restaurants are managed and run by robots in the future. For example, when you go to a McDonald's, robots do everything from driving the food supply trucks to making the meal to dealing with you as a customer. And as I mentioned, it's super easy to pay because literally all you do is scan your hand and it's that fast. Coming back to 2018 has made me think about how much faster the future is for everything. I'm actually getting pretty bored being here. I miss my virtual reality. And this has made me remember that you guys still have cable TV. In the future, all television is internet-based. Speaking of entertainment, many of the TV shows and movies are actually created by artificial intelligence. This is because AI can generate movies that are as realistic as actual movies filmed by production companies. A lot of amazing things are in store for your future. You might be wondering if me telling you all this will cause a paradox. It won't. Even though I'm technically breaking protocol by telling you everything I can about the future, it won't cause a paradox, and I believe that by telling you, whoever's out there watching this, you can help make our future better. Now, let's talk about how the time travel process works. In the year that I'm from, 2033, commercial time travel is available to the public. As I mentioned, it is quite expensive. But just like you might save money to go on a vacation, it is very common for people to save up to go on a time vacation and visit the past or future. Going to the future is cheaper than going to the past, but I had planned on stopping by several different time periods, one being right now in the year 2018. This was for personal reasons. I wanted to meet a relative that was no longer with us, and it gave me the chance to publicly tell about my story. So, I'm not a scientist or anything, but to my understanding, time travel requires a lot of energy. So basically, there's several dimensions outside of the ones we as humans can perceive. To travel in time, we have to slip into these dimensions and then slip back into the lower dimensions in the time we want to travel to. There have actually been tests done since the early 1980s, and in 2033, we have perfected it, so we can travel to a specific day and location. It's an amazing feeling to time travel, and it's nothing like I thought it would be. You sit in this sphere machine thing, and it starts to get really loud, and then you basically fade out. Your consciousness essentially fades out, and you see nothing but white. This is when you're in those higher dimensions. We as humans cannot perceive them, so typically you just see a bright color like white. You might also hear some strange sounds, but that's normal. Then, you start to feel yourself materialize in the place and time you programmed the machine to bring you. and all you can bring with you when you time travel is your clothes and a few other small items, like a cell phone. When you go into the future, going back into the past is easy because you can just go to a time station and pay a small fee to travel back. When you're in the past and want to time travel back into the future, you have to use the implemented chip in your wrist along with an app you can download on your smartphone. There are a lot of laws and regulations on time traveling, so they tell you to do it in a discreet location where nobody's looking, because to outside people who are watching, they just see you disappear. A few time travelers have slipped up and have been caught on security cameras and stuff, but the agencies that police time traveling do a pretty good job making sure everything goes smoothly. I am really excited to go back to my natural time, but I just wanted to send you this audio file and release my story to the public. When I do go back, it'll definitely be interesting to see if people in the future talk about my story in the history books. Thank you Apex TV, and thank you to everybody who listened to my story. I truly just hope it helps make the world a better place. I'm not staying much longer in the year 2018, but if anybody has any major questions I didn't cover, feel free to ask. Thanks again. Have a great day, everybody, and hopefully, a great future.
What do you think? Was that man an actual time traveler from the year 2033? Be sure to leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss an upcoming video in which an alleged time traveler shows us evidence from the future. You're not going to want to miss it. In the meantime, check out this video in which a time traveler showed us a supposed video from the future. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you in the next video. Peace out.